Lots of games judge your actions while playing, with things like karma systems, bad endings, or flocks of angry murderous chickens. More insidious, however, are the games that are secretly judging you in the background as you play, with hidden systems and criteria that you, the player, are none the wiser about, but which will have a significant impact on your game regardless. Here are 7 examples of just that, games that were secretly judging you the whole time you were playing. Enjoy, beware spoilers ahead for the following games, and maybe watch this video all the way through to the end. Or don't, entirely up to you.
Her name's Mary. She's my wife.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
In Silent Hill 2, road-tripping widower James Sunderland pulls up in the perma-foggy town of Silent Hill, having been summoned by a mysterious letter from his supposedly dead wife Mary.
I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you.
Soon enough, James is up to his eyeballs in juddering nightmare creatures with nary a sighting of Mary, though there is a woman hanging around called Maria who looks exactly like her, except in a sexier outfit. Probably this is fine and nothing to worry about.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife.
Now, if you thought the way to succeed in Silent Hill 2 was to simply shoot abominations and not die, as per any number of normal video games, then sweetie, you've got another thing coming. It turns out that without telling you so, Silent Hill 2 keeps tabs on the way you heal, move, and access certain inventory items, as a means of secretly assessing you and your intentions and exactly what kind of ending you deserve. In the ostensibly good ending, James gets the heck out of town accompanied by the young girl Laura, both of them escaping the clutches of this unhappiest place on Earth, ready to move on with their lives. If you want to get this ending, you better be promptly healing whenever you're injured, standing clear of the vampy Maria, and checking your photo of the dearly departed Mary on the regular. Is it a good idea to stop and stare at a photograph when there's a Freudian monstrosity every 10 yards? Silent Hill 2 seems to think so. If you don't keep healing and looking wistfully at Mary's photo, and you do keep willfully bumping into Maria, the game will question your commitment to staying alive and coming to terms with James's trauma and guilt. In which case, you'll wind up with one of the less cheerful endings, like the one where James drives his car into a lake, or the one where he leaves town with Maria, who for one probably isn't real, and two is probably going to die of the same terrible disease that killed Mary.
You'd better do something about that cough.
Unless it's just a side effect of the fog.
If I had to guess what Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain was judging me on, I'd probably say my music taste, considering how meticulously curated Venom Snake's mixtapes are.
Lost, like the tears that used to die.
Would a little Carly Rae Jepsen kill him? Honestly. In reality though, there is a hidden karma system at play in Metal Gear Solid 5 that is working away in the background, silently judging you for your actions and awarding you negative karma, or so-called demon points, for things such as killing your enemies, critically wounding your companion characters, or presumably running around Mother Base beating up your recruits for a laugh. These demon points have very little impact on actual gameplay, but have a pretty significant impact on Snake himself. Due to the helicopter crash at the end of prologue title Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, Snake has a chunk of shrapnel embedded in his forehead. This usually doesn't cause you much trouble, apart from presumably people attaching fridge magnets to it while you're asleep.
Getting used to it?
Accrue over 20,000 demon points, however, and the horn will start to grow longer of its own accord, giving you a not insignificant facial prong that is long enough that Snake could use it to start a side hustle as a unicorn at children's birthday parties. Let your demon points tip over 50,000, however, and Snake will take on his final evil form, that of Demon Snake, where the horn is even longer and he's covered from head to toe in blood, which, if I'm honest, is probably going to cause the children's party bookings to dry up. What's worse is that unlike the normal blood you might get all over yourself in the regular course of being a hero, this demon blood doesn't wash off in Mother Base's showers. This means that until you get your act together and start clearing some of those demon points, you're going to be all bloody and sticky, attracting flies, wild animals, and scared looks from the Mother Base soldiers. Although that might just be because of the random beatings.
Even in the realm of secretly judgy video games, there is a clear winner in the Most Judgy Judge Pants Award for Most Judgmentally Judgy, and it's Undertale. That's because you'll discover late in the game that Undertale has an entire location dedicated to judgment before you tackle the final boss. This hallway where you meet Sans looks like an opulent church and is dedicated to you shamefully accounting for your myriad sins. I can only apologise to any Catholic viewers who are having horrible flashbacks. This is the moment when new players of the game, bumbling along, occasionally murdering opponents and rarely thinking anything of it, are made to confront their deeds by Sans. Depending on your level of violence, he chastises you more or less sternly depending on how many characters you killed. Though on at least one occasion, he actually tells you off for being rubbish at being evil. Mixed messages much, Sans. But what you won't realise at first, and potentially even after a complete playthrough, is that Undertale is remembering and quietly judging literally everything you do, even when you've exited the game. Take this example where you're on for a pacifist 0 kills run, then by accident or design kill a character, but reload the game to try and fix the problem, and end up getting chewed out by Flowey when you restart. First Sans is telling me off because I'm bad at being evil, and now the Flower's telling me off because I tried to undo a murder. I'm starting to think it would be easier if I just went for the kill everyone ending. Ah! Okay, fine. I'll try harder.
Cheryl! Sweetie?
You might have thought you were wise to Silent Hill's judgy ways, having played other Silent Hill games prior to Silent Hill Shattered Memories. But you couldn't have anticipated the new, even more thorough surveillance going on in Shattered Memories, where your every action is being discreetly tracked so the game can build a psychological profile based on your behaviour. In Shattered Memories, amnesiac dad Harry Mason is on the trail of his missing infant daughter Cheryl in the titular town, where the weather has deteriorated from sinister fog to frozen hellscape. In between spells of Harry creeping around and fleeing from freaky faceless flesh mannequins, the game has a framing narrative where you're in a psychiatrist's office being assessed with questionnaires of dubious therapeutic benefit. The therapy session, however, is only the tip of the game's psychoanalytical iceberg. Away from the therapy couch, Shattered Memories is additionally monitoring things like how friendly or unfriendly you choose to make Harry,
Shouldn't have trusted you. Damn cops.
and how much time he, which is to say you, spends looking at stuff like booze and boobs. You're supposed to be searching for your daughter. You better believe Silent Hill is judging you. Come the end of the game, it's revealed that the patient in the psychiatrist's office actually is, twist, grown-up Cheryl, and Harry was, twist, dead all along. The Harry you've been playing as is in fact the manifestation of Cheryl's delusion that her dad is still alive.
Wake up!
Your dad wasn't a hero. wasn't your knight in shining armor. He was a human being. You never knew him, and you never will.
The sum total of your behaviour throughout the game is then tallied, and you're either awarded the good ending, where it's revealed that in life Harry was a nice guy, or you're condemned with one of the various bad endings, where it's revealed that in life Harry was, for instance, an abusive drunk or a cheating lech.
Can we be in your next book?
Sure.
Can you dedicate it to us?
Nope. Dedications are always to my wife and daughter. It's only fair.
Also, and here's fun, you may not have made the connection that the freaky faceless flesh mannequins were also evolving over the course of the game to symbolically represent your cumulative transgressions as tracked by the game. So they've got horrible skin conditions, for instance, or boobs. Silent Hill isn't angry at you, it's just disappointed, and also angry. So I'd watch out if I were you.
Nosferatu is a 1994 action platform game for the SNES that is best described as Prince of Persia meets vampires and vampires meets punching. In it, you play as Kyle, whose girlfriend Erin has been kidnapped by the Nosferatu of the title. Erin is being held in said Nosferatu's lair, a sprawling castle full of traps, monsters, and apes for some reason. While Carl is extremely good at punching things, the game is very hard, and no doubt you'll be having to look at the continue screen a lot more than you'd like. The continue screen takes the form of a photo of Kyle and Erin looking happy to remind you why you're here and why you must continue fighting. This is underlined if you choose not to continue, upon which you see a scene of the vampire biting Erin to recruit her to his ever-growing army of the undead and also apes. What you might not realise while playing the game is that Nosferatu is quietly keeping track of exactly how well you're doing. In the original Japanese version of the game, you have 8 continues, and once those are gone, you're locked into the game's bad ending. In the US and European versions of the game, the visible continue counter is gone, but the deal remains the same. If you die and continue 8 or more times, you might notice some subtle differences in the continue screen that tell you that things are going to end badly for Kyle. For a start, the Erin in the photograph has changed, subtly but significantly. If you look closely, her teeth now seem pointier and more fang-like, and her brow is slightly furrowed, indicating that she's already been turned by the vampire. It's subtle, but clear when you switch back and forth between the pictures. Plus, if you choose not to continue at this point, you no longer get the biting scene, as presumably the biting has already happened off camera. Now, if and when you do finally finish the game, instead of the triumphant ending cutscene of Kyle rescuing Erin, we get a new scene in which Kyle saves her, pulls her in for an embrace, and then reels back in pain, clutching his neck. So that's bad. Also, I now have to scroll back through all the pictures in my camera roll looking for fangs. So thanks a lot, Nosferatu.
Back in the late 1990s, Squaresoft dipped its toe in the survival horror genre with the series Parasite Eve, which is presumably the day before Parasite Day, when all the kids unwrap their new parasites. Parasite Eve 2, released in 1999, cast you as an FBI operative named Aya Brea, investigating the existence of neo-mitochondrial creatures. And if you ever studied biology, you'll know that the mitochondria are the part of the cell that controls turning into a gross monster. Maybe I shouldn't have bought my biology degree off the internet. You'll spend the majority of Parasite Eve 2 just trying to stay alive in the face of a relentless barrage of hideous mutants, so you can't be blamed for missing some of the subtle things that the game is secretly judging you for, such as whether or not you phone a character called Jodie immediately after reading a memo from a character named Pierce. A memo that doesn't say, for example, phone Jodie now, hugs and kisses Pierce. Yeah, I didn't even know I was supposed to do that. I just love a natter. Fail to complete a litany of small tasks, most of which involve hauling Pierce's ass out of trouble, and you'll close off access to the game's best ending. Miss a couple more subtle moments, like returning to Dryfield at the correct time, or picking up a teddy bear lying near a motorcycle, and you'll consign yourself permanently to the worst ending of the game. All of these elements are interconnected and none of them are signposted, so it's extremely easy to end up accidentally ruining your entire playthrough because you messed up in some small way. There is, however, one way to guarantee you get the worst ending, and that's by taking more than 3 minutes to beat the boss fight against the burner monster, thus allowing your faithful dog Flint to die. Well, now it's not just the game judging you. I'm judging you too.
Come a long way to get here, haven't we? Just think. It all started in a f***ing landfill.
Then you tried to kill me.
See exactly what I mean? Trying to save your sorry hide now.
The premise of Cyberpunk 2077 is that you're a gun for hire in a dystopian future with a ghost of a dead rock star living rent-free in your cyberbrain. The dead rock star is one Johnny Silverhand, and despite having the face and voice of the internet's boyfriend Keanu Reeves, he has nearly none of the wholesome likability.
Know what? You're starting to remind me of me, 50 years back. Minus the charisma. An impressive.
Regardless, the game is keeping an extremely close eye on how you treat your brain buddy, to the point where whether or not you can access the best, most satisfying ending of the game hinges on your relationship with him.
Kinda tough deciding which of your friends get to die, isn't it? Good news is you got this one chum who's already dead. And he'd be honored to join you on a wild suicide run.
What's more, the game isn't just keeping tabs on your treatment of Silverhand in a straightforward way, like one way you can get in his good books by just saying nice things and giving him little gifts. And it's not just enough to rack up loyalty points by completing the side missions Johnny wants to do. No, Cyberpunk 2077 has selected one very specific mid-game conversation to secretly be the determining factor in whether or not you can sufficiently befriend this egomaniacal ghost in the machine. At the end of the mission, where you wind up having a heart-to-heart with Silverhand in an old oil field, you have to select a series of precisely the right dialogue options, or else the game decides you've irrevocably mucked things up with your mate Johnny, and he'll never offer you the special secret good ending right towards the end of the story.
But let's say it was my real grave. What would you write? Here lies Johnny Silverhand.
Notably, your dialogue options in the pivotal conversation are sometimes only subtly different in tone from each other, so there's nothing as obvious as an option to say, "Hey Johnny, you're the best, let's be friends forever."
When you said you let your friends down, did you mean rogue?
Only if you pick the exact right options in this exact conversation will the game deem you worthy of the special secret good ending. And what is that, you ask? It's the one where you go to space in the end, because of course it is. Which means that at least one game developer got my letter asking for all games to feature Keanu Reeves, and you go to space in the end. Everyone else, I will accept it in a patch.
Huh. You just discovered what it takes to become a legend. Grab your iron. Let's mobilize.
Well, you made it to the end of this video about games that were silently judging you. Let me just make some notes here, doesn't matter what that's about.
Hey Andy, how'd the video go? I wasn't watching.
It went well. They watched all the way through to the end and they got the good ending where Mike lives. So
Okay.
Snipers, you can stand down. All right, they're off. Well done, Mike. You must be feeling pretty pleased.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you enjoyed this video, why not watch another one from Outside Xbox? There's one here. Or if you want something else from Outside Extra, why not check out this video down here? No, I said stand down. I mean, what can you do?